European Rugby is back this week, so we have the Challenge Cup kicking off on Thursday. This year has been pretty disrupted because both Wasps and Worcester Warriors were supposed to play in this, so they've had to kind of rejig pools to, try to get a kind of a fair competition. So this year we've actually got two pools. One has 10 teams, the other has 8. Each of the teams then will play 4 games, 2 home, 2 away. At the end of that, the top 5 teams should progress then to the round of 16, and they'll be joined by 6 teams that are dropping down from the Champions Cup, which is the top tier of European rugby. And the teams that drop down will be, so the Champions Cup is 2 pools of 12. So it'll be the teams in 9th, 10th, and 11th place in each of those pools to drop down. And the teams in 12th will just, their European season ends. They don't drop down to this competition. We also have the Cheetahs from South Africa who've been invited because they don't play in any of the 3 major leagues that feed into this, which is the Premiership in England, top 14 in France, and the URC, which includes teams from Ireland, Italy, Scotland, Wales, and South Africa. But the Cheetahs are no longer in the URC, but they were invited to make up the numbers for this one. We're going to have a quick look at the pools and the teams that are in them, and then we look at the first round of fixtures as well. So in Pool A, we have Bath, who are English. They're from the Premiership. Last year they finished 13th in the Premiership. This year they're in 8th, so they've improved a bit from last year. They're actually in better form at the start of this season, and kind of hit a bit of a rough patch just coming into Europe, but still going fairly well, certainly better than they were last year. But they were eliminated in round of 16 in this competition last year. Then we have Bristol Bears, also from England and in the Premiership. They finished 10th in the Premiership last year. They're currently 11th, so kind of around similar position, except for 11th this year means that they're actually bottom of the league. So not in amazing form coming into this. They were eliminated in the Champions Cup round of 16 last year, so they didn't play in this competition. Next, we have Brive from France. They play in the top 14. Last year, they're 12th. At the moment, they're propping up the table in 14th. They were eliminated in the pool stages of this competition last year. Then we have Cardiff from Wales, who play in the URC. They were 14th in the URC last year, doing better this year, 7th. They're on a decent run of form, although they did suffer a heavy loss in their last outing. Eliminated in the round of 16 last year in this competition, probably looking to do better this year. Next, we have Connacht from Ireland, from the URC as well. Finished 12th last year in the URC. They're currently 11th this year, so kind of similar, except they are finding some form, especially at home. They were eliminated in the Champions Cup round of 16 last year. Then we have Glasgow from Scotland in the URC. Last year they finished 8th, currently in 9th, so kind of similar position for them. They made the quarterfinals of this competition last year and actually went, I think that's as deep as any of the current teams went last year out of these guys. All but one, I think. So they're probably targeting a good run in this competition for this year. Next, we have Newcastle from England. They play in the Premiership. Finished 12th last year. This year, they're 9th in the Premiership, so going a little bit better, slightly better form. Eliminated round of 16 last year, so certainly will be looking to get out of their pool. Then we have Perpignan from France, top 14. They were 13th last year. This year, hang on, let me double check because I think I have the wrong one for them. So just give me a second. Yeah, they're 13th. I had them down as 14th. 13th. 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 13 There we go. Okay. So yeah, they're 13th this year in the top 14. So, not in great form coming into this. They were eliminated in the pool stages last year as well. So, maybe one of the easier French teams that you're going to face. But you never know. Teams sometimes can love the break of Europe and find some form. We then have Toulon, who were 8th last year in the top 14th, currently sitting 9th. So, not in terrible form. They were runners up in this competition last year as well. Probably going to want to go a step further this year. And if they do, that will qualify them for the Champions Cup for next year. And then Zebre from Italy playing the URC. Finished the URC 16th last year. Currently propping up the URC table at the minute as well, with 0 wins from 9 rounds. Eliminated from the pool stages last year, and probably looking at the same prospect as well this year. Then into Pool B, which is the smaller of the two pools. You have Bayonne from France. They play in the top 14. They were in the Pro D2 last year. They're currently 7th in the top 14. So probably going to be a bit of a surprise package for some of the non-top 14 teams in their pool. Surprisingly as well, in Pool B, we don't have any English teams, but I think that is to do with the fact that both Wasps and the Warriors were supposed to be in this pool, so that's why we ended up with 3 English teams in Pool A and none in Pool B. We then have Benetton from Italy. They finished 13th in the URC last year. They're currently 12th. They were up as high as, I think, 5th at one point in the URC this year. So they're kind of on a downward trend at the minute. They were eliminated in the round of 16 last year. They'll probably want to, progress a bit further than that this year. Then we have Cheetahs from South Africa. They're an invitee, so they don't play in any of the leagues that feed into this. They're just going to want to show people what they can do. And, got no real form to base any predictions on for them. We then have Dragons from Wales playing the URC. Last year finished 15th. They're 13th at the moment under Di Flanagan. They've shown a bit more steel. Expect them. They were eliminated in pool stages last year. Expect them to be maybe fighting to qualify out of this pool though this year. We then have Lions from South Africa playing the URC, 11th last year, currently 5th. And on a really good run of form as well. This is their debut season in Europe. Probably looking to finish in the top couple of spots in this pool. We then have Pau from France, 10th last year in the top 14, currently 12th. Eliminated in the pool stages last year. They're going to be one of the teams that are going to be there or thereabouts, though, for one of those spots to qualify. Next, we have the Scarlets from Wales, 10th last year in the URC, currently 15th, and not really having a great season at all. They were eliminated in the pool stage of the Champions Cup last year. Could be a pool exit from this competition as well for them, unless they can find some form from somewhere. We then have Stade Francais, top 14, 11th last year, currently 3rd in the table. So out of really all the teams here, they're the form team. Themselves and the Lions really are the two form teams, and they're both in the same pool as well. So that's going to be interesting to see. Are those two going to be battling out for the top seeding from this pool? But last year, Stade Francais were eliminated from the Champions Cup round of 16. Definitely going to want to go well in this competition this year, I feel. Now, let's have a look at the fixtures that we have coming up. So, let me grab them here. So, on Thursday in Pool A, we have Perpignan versus Bristol. Probably going for a home win there, although Bristol can be a tough team to break down. We then also have Stade Francais versus Benetton. Benetton haven't really travelled well in the URC this year, so we do expect a home win to come out of that. Then into the Saturday games. So we have Pool A, Bath versus the Warriors. Going to be a decent game between those two, I feel. Glasgow are at least going to want to get something out of the game, not necessarily a win. We then have Cardiff versus Brive. Cardiff have been, decent at home, so they're going to look for a win there. Brive, though, first game of the competition this year, so we shouldn't see the usual, French teams not travelling well. That normally happens when they feel like they're not going to get anywhere in the competition and they start making changes, so a bit early for that. So next then we have Connacht versus Newcastle Falcons. These two teams, when they meet in this competition a lot, actually, I feel. Or maybe it's just the fact that I watch out for Connacht's results more than anyone else in this competition. But going to be a tight game between them and probably very entertaining as well. Both teams like to run the ball, and they don't have the tightest defenses in their respective leagues either, so probably a high scoring game there. Then we have Zebre versus Toulon. So Toulon, it's not that long ago where they were one of the top teams in the Champions Cup, let alone in here in the Challenge Cup. Zebre, as I said, 0 wins from 9 rounds in the URC this year. You really got to back Toulon to win that and to win it well. It would be nice to see Zebre turning up, though, and surprising everyone. It's just hard to see it happening. Then into Pool B, we have the Lions versus the Dragons. So this is a repeat of the game. When was it? Was it last round or the round before? But they basically just recently played in the URC. Lions won that one, and they'll be looking to do the same again here. We have Pau versus the Cheetahs. Pau not really like a force, and the Cheetahs are kind of an unknown quantity in terms of they had, like, I guess they've been playing Currie Cup Rugby, right? But they haven't been playing URC, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go in that one. This really is their kind of chance to showcase themselves and show people what they can do, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull something off against Pau, but they certainly, when they're playing the home games, they're going to look to upset a few people. Then into Sunday's final game, we have Scarlets versus Bayonne. So Scarlets on a pretty poor run of form, gonna look to produce something here in Europe, but if they just carry their URC form in, I can see Bayonne pulling off a win there. And once we get through kind of the first round of matches, it's going to be interesting to see where teams are sitting. This is the kind of competition where we would expect a few upsets to happen, and once those happen, you've only got 3 games. If you're one of the big teams that are expected to qualify, if you're going to have 3 games to turn things around. So this first round of games is very important to set things out, and there are going to be some very interesting watches in those fixtures that are there.